3-in-1 deliciousness. What are these delicious meals, you may ask? You will get to meet them if you don't go away. The full video is up on my channel. If you want the full video, do well to check them out in the description box below. So guys, let's go. The first one is white soup. This is a soup that got its name from the fact that it doesn't need any oil. So I used yam for my thickener. This yam will be cooked until it is soft. Then I pounded it. When it is still hot, pound until it is very smooth. You can use a food processor for this purpose. Set this aside. I use some chicken parts as my protein. You can use any protein of your choice. This chicken is a very strong one, so I simply seasoned with seasoning cubes and some salt and set to cook. While that is cooking, I will prepare the vegetables. I used a little Utazi leaf and Uziza leaf. Set that aside. I washed my dried fish, deboned it, and set aside. Here is a list of other ingredients I used: the fish, the yam, the pepper and pepper soup spice in place of ehuru, Uziza seed, and uda. Here is the crayfish. Here is ogiribo. And then I will pound my pepper. Add a little Utazi leaf, the crayfish, of course, I washed it. Then back to the pot. This must have cooked. I added the water I will use for this soup now and allow this to cook. Back to my mortar and my pestle, I'll be adding this quantity of ogiribo, just about a tablespoon. Pound that properly and set aside. This is the pepper mix. You can use your blender or your food processor for this. Back to the pot, I added some dried fish and I spiced once again with just a seasoning cube. Remember, I seasoned the chicken. I'll be added a little salt and give that a nice mix. You have to be careful with salt. You can add salt if it is not enough. Here is the pepper soup spice, about a tablespoon. This is in place of ehuru, uda, and Uziza seed. Give that a very nice mix and cover to cook. I'll be slicing the Uziza leaf. We just need a little quantity to give this a kind of aromatic flavor. Back to the pot, I will be adding the pepper mix. Stir so that everything will be well incorporated. Then allow this to cook. Back to the pot, I will be adding the yam, just in chunks so that it can dissolve easily. Add the yam in chunks. The quantity is just little because this soup doesn't need to be very thick. Once you've added the yam, cover and allow this to dissolve. Next, I will stir this. I will check the consistency. Is this what I want? If it is, you can remove the yam chunks that are still remaining. If it's not thick to your taste, you can add more yam to thicken it. I really want mine to thicken just a little more, so I'll be leaving these chunks to dissolve very well. Once they are dissolved, I'll be adding the Uziza leaf, just sparingly. We don't need much. Add sparingly and allow this to cook for about 2 minutes. Take this off the heat and serve. This can go well with pounded yam or just about any swallow of your choice. The next deliciousness is Ofada sauce. You can call it Ayamashe sauce. You can call it designer sauce. We are interested in the deliciousness of these. I used boiled egg. Cook until they are hard boiled, then peel. Set this aside. I used beef. You can use any protein of your choice. I will season and cook. Set that aside. I need red oil, but I want this to be bleached. So I'll be bleaching my oil. I will cover on low heat. Once it has bleached, just the way I love it, I will set it aside to cool down. Don't add anything into this oil yet. These are the peppers I used. These peppers should be properly cleaned. Remove the seeds. Although so many people argue on why you should remove the seed, I don't think I love the seeds because they are quite strong and they are bitter if you ask me. I'll be blending this roughly. You don't need to blend it smoothly, okay? just like this. Make sure it is roughly blended. Set that aside. To our oil, it should be cooled by now. I'll be frying my protein inside this oil. Once I'm done frying the protein, I will set them aside. Inside the same oil, I'll be frying my onions until it caramelizes. Then I'll be adding a tablespoon of iru. Stir that properly, and next will be the pepper mix. All the peppers should be inside this pot now. If yours has water, you can squeeze out the water and then add the pepper mix. Look at that. Yummy, guys. This was so delicious. Here is crayfish. I used about a quarter cup of crayfish. I will season this now with seasoning cubes and then salt. If you would like any other seasonings, go ahead. Season to your taste, just the way you love it. Once this is done, I will be adding the eggs. Can you see how the eggs are smooth? This is because after cooking them, I added them into cool water before peeling them. This way, the shell will be able to come off easily. I added dried fish now. Stir that properly and add the meat. Guys, this was delicious. This is Ofada sauce. You can enjoy this with your Ofada rice. Allow this to cook until the oil settles on top. And wow, this food is ready. You can enjoy this with anything you would enjoy stew with. This is Ayamashi sauce. Some people call it designer sauce. Guys, you can enjoy. I enjoy this with my normal rice. You can enjoy yours with anything of your choice. The last but not the least deliciousness is Utazi soup. I used goat meat for this. I cleaned my stockfish. I cleaned my dried fish as well. Set those aside. To my meat that is boiling now, I started boiling this without adding any water. So now I'll be seasoning with just seasoning cube and then salt. Be careful with seasoning cube and salt at this point. Cover this and let it cook. I will wash the vegetables. I used Utazi and some Oziza leaves to give it a kind of aromatic taste. Inside my pot is stockfish going in now. This stockfish was well cleaned. Next is dried fish. Add the dried fish and let this cook. You can see that there is no plenty water inside this my pot. This is because I don't really need this stock. Next, I will cook my palm kernel nut and my cocoyam. We'll be using this as thickener. Cook until they are tender. This is when this palm kernel nut is tender. Next is the cocoyam. It is ready when it is soft, just like so. So I'll be extracting the juice from the palm kernel nuts. To achieve this, I will pound this, then add some water to extract the juice. Make sure you do this when this palm kernel nut is still hot. When it cools down, you won't like the outcome. Set this aside. Next is the cocoyam. Peel and then pound. If this was cooked very well, the back should be able to come off easily. You can use a food processor for this purpose. I'll be using my pounder. Make sure it is smooth. Set aside. To the vegetable, this is the oziza. I will simply slice it into smaller chunks and set aside as well. To the Utazi, I'll be washing this just the way you would wash bitter leaf and set aside. We are cooking now. The juice is now cooking. I'll pound my pepper, some Utazi leaf, just about 5 pieces. I'll pound my crayfish and then the ogiribo. This is not ogiribo. We are using ogiribo for this soup. Once everything is ready, set it aside. You can use your blender for this purpose. Into my pot now, this is the juice that is ready. I will now add all my protein that I cooked and season with just seasoning cube and salt. Cover and let this cook. Once it has cooked for about 3 to 5 minutes, I will add my pepper mix. Stir so that everything will be well combined. Then cover and let cook again before adding your thickener. Remember, we use cocoyam for this purpose. Let this thickener dissolve just a little. Then add the Utazi that we washed just the way we would wash your bitter leaf. Remember, we don't want to get rid of the bitterness. We need some bitterness. Now we are adding Oziza leaf, the one that was sliced. Add this leaf, stir properly, and let cook for about 3 minutes, and this food is ready. This is Utazi leaf. It is delicious, it is medicinal. Guys, which of these deliciousness is your favorite? Which of them would you be making soon? Let me know in the comment section below. For their full detailed video, check the description box below. I will see you in my next one. Enjoy. Bye-bye.